Hey, everybody. If not me, who? If not now, when? What else do you need to know? I forgot. I call out another tough guy. Another tough guy who doesn't want to talk about this. I don't know what reason he would have. He's got a platform. Uh, he seems to be very concerned about his country. Okay, Mike's plugged in. Good. All right, so who could I be talking about? David Nino Rodriguez, you want to come on and explain to the people why you won't talk about this? How your people contacted me trying to sell me something? I shared all my information. Well, I shared a lot of information. I shared enough that you ought to be reporting on this. Crickets. Where are the men? Not the males, but the men. Where are they? Can anybody tell me where the men are? Where is a Patriot News reporter that's going to tell you what I'm telling you? The grand juries come from your sheriff. Is this complicated? I'm going to say it again. I'm talking to you, Americans. Your grand juries come from the sheriff. I believe it should be coming with the aid of an assembly, which is the population of your county. Oh, the people who have all power? Cut it out. Oh, cut it out. Constitutional kiss, America. I love you. You think I'd be going without all this sleep, put myself through all this if I didn't love you? If I didn't love God? Everything I have figured out constitutionally to unslave myself and unchain myself, and all the action I have taken is in a matter of months, not a year, not years, not snail's pace, because, well, vets are only killing themselves about 20 a day or something like that. I don't know how many, homeless, suffering, miserable. Everybody's a slave. Free men in prison. Your servants ignore the evidence. I give you the evidence. It's on the website. It's visual. It's measurable. I give you the history. The early 1900s, Weston Price. They destroyed the man for bringing this out. They try and destroy me. I must have a little bit better relationship with the good Lord than Weston Price did. Maybe. I don't. I can't. There's got to be a reason. Remember, I don't like to read. I don't like to write. I like to work with my hands. I like to be creative with my mind. I love living free. What about you? What about you? Where are the men? David Nino Rodriguez, come on live with me. Explain to me why you don't talk about this. Red Pill 78, come on live. Tell me why you won't talk about this. Randy Kelton, come on. Who am I missing? There's one more. CanCon. Veteran. Oh, veteran. Had the FBI knock on his door because he was somewhere. FBI playing with Gretchen Whitmer. I think they were here. One day while I was gone for a couple hours this summer. Yeah, there was a couple of funny things here. Very interesting timing. I don't know that they were. I can't say that they were. I believe that somebody was here. Because nature don't do what happened while I was gone. Nature does not do what happened while I was gone. Now you got the news reports about the FBI and Gretchen Whitmer. You got the news reports about Darleaf and a free man in his county getting hornswoggled, possibly by entrapment with the FBI. You got administrative junk going on. Administrative! These clowns British agent clowns, just sucking you dry, sucking each other dry. They can't get out if they want to without getting destroyed. And none of them got the balls to take a stand. Well, if they do, how come we haven't seen it? People, this is not complicated. Go to oralhealth.com, oralhealthwithcannabis.com. Take a look. Take a look at the gum tissue rejuvenation. I want to explain this. If you got another device, look now while you're listening. I'm going to give it a minute. I'll explain a few things while you're getting a view. I wish I knew how to screen share, and nobody wants to reach out and help me. I've been trying for months to get an advert. It seems like every time I want to get help with an advert, I can't get help with an advert. I get so far, I get like 80%. That's what gatekeepers do. They suck up your time. 80%. And then drop you off. I can't get a decent looking advert. I can't get a decent looking thumbnail for my videos. I can't get any technical consulting. All these thousands of patriots, what is going on? Chicken. Chicken to be associated with Ethan, because Ethan's got lasers pointed at him from everywhere. It's going to be you. What do you think happens if I'm gone? Who can tell this story like I can tell it? That's why it's all written down, all scanned in, spread out. That's why these videos are made, where I read them, where I show it. I give you the PCAPs. That's why the website's there. Visual, measurable evidence of gum tissue rejuvenation. Science cannot do it. Can't. Put it in writing. In the United States National Library of Medicine. Colgate used that to advertise with. That's where I found the dang statement was in a Colgate ad. And I discover we do it with marijuana. Classified as zero medicinal value, too dangerous to be made into a drug. Yeah, and what do? CBD. When you isolate CBD and people take too much, they get wasting disease. And you probably knew that. You probably knew that. You probably knew how healing and nourishing cannabis is. Then when your endocannabinoid system is nourished, you cannot get high. You cannot get stoned. You cannot hallucinate. You can't. You just can't. If you want that, you got to try something else. Some magic mushrooms, or some peyote, or some ayahuasca, or some DMT, or some LSD, or some mescaline. I believe all of it's provided by God. Look, people, we got some real serious health issues. Yeah, Ethan, I know. Tell me about it. You got physical health. You got mental health. Spiritual health. There are things that will help you spiritually. Meditation is one. Kindness and love is one. Repentance is one. Forgiveness is one. And being born again is one. What might help get you more spiritually connected? Maybe maybe a properly supervised experience with peyote until you know how to own your authority and do that all by yourself or with any other, whether it be psilocybin mushrooms, which one experience cures depression. There's a lot of good scientific evidence. One experience, and I'm talking experience. You got to understand the word experience, not microdosing, but an experience. One got like very high. I believe it's well over 80s. I think it's in the 90s, but it's 80s or 90s in my mind. But don't trust me. Check it out for yourself. If you're suffering with depression, you might want to look for some psilocybin mushrooms. They might be in your area. You might have to go somewhere to get them. You can come to Michigan and get them. Yeah, you can. As far as I know, you could in Ann Arbor. There's other places. They want to make you think that you can't think for yourself. You can. If you're in your 30s and your 40s, you think you're the whip. The young ones don't know nothing, and the old folks are out of touch. Hmm. Trying to set you free. I'm going to. I got this. It's a fact. I got it. Your document is there. Just go get it and own your authority. There's 4 sections in there, 4 constitutional sections. Just read those. Just those 4. Oh, you're going to love it. Okay. So, I mean, don't make the thing complicated for yourself because it is stupidly simple. All right. You come into court. You're in court. And you enter into court as one of the people, as the affiant, as seen in Article 1, Section 1 of a constitutional provision, a very strong constitutional provision that applies to you. Okay? So you've come into court. What'd you do? Well, I guess you set jurisdiction, didn't you? Oh, I did, didn't I? What else did you do? You set that jurisdiction in the highest court, a court of record, not an administrative court. You know, like where they reprimand you on the job. You got to go in to deal with human resources or something. All right. Is that is that a good constitutional kiss for you? Is that really simple? It is. All right. You're going to come into court. You're the affiant. You're setting a jurisdiction, the highest jurisdiction. You're in court of record. Whose court? Your court, the people's court. You don't have to be in a building. You hold court anywhere. You can hold court from anywhere. Mm-hmm. So why not? Well, I'm not an attorney. Oh, you prosecute your own cause. You can. Really, Ethan? Where? In any tribunal. In any court. How do we know that, Ethan? Because it's in your Constitution. All right. I also, on the website where you go to get your notice of liability, I plopped in what is titled 47 states. It's actually 48 states. Bills of Rights and Declarations of Rights. From whatever was available for me for that state when I was looking. My goal was to get all 50 and get it into a Word document. Now, when you're going through there, at the top, you're going to see I put a couple of my favorites up there, when I early started putting the thing together. So that's what you're going to see at the top. Then it goes kind of alphabetically because it goes A's, B's, C's, D's, E's, like that. It goes alphabetically like that. But it doesn't mean that the A's are all in alphabetical order, like Alabama and Arkansas and Arizona, the proper order for that if you were doing that alphabetically. No, they're just in the A's, okay? And the pages are numbered. That's important. Sometimes you'll see something, you'll say, oh, I want to write that page number down. Now, if you're not familiar with working with Word, oh, goodness. There's right up in the middle, there's a little box. You click in there and you can get to all different kinds of things. So type find and you'll get an option. And you click on that and a little screen will pop up over on the left-hand side of your computer. And there you can type in a word. So if you want to look for prosecute or prosecutor or prosecutor, whatever the correct pronunciation of that is, put it in there. Let it populate. Then there's arrows. You can go up the document or down the document. Click on an arrow. It'll take you to the next word. Now, sometimes you can find immunity and immunities by not completely typing the word. Oh, it's interesting. So if there is a certain area that you want to study, certain word that has your interest, well, then use that. And if the system is working properly, it's going to take you everywhere that word is. But it doesn't mean it will. It doesn't mean the system's working right. But for me, it's worked well enough to give me a very, very good education. Just so happens these papers have been laying here for a while. I know we talk about this stuff all the time. The military shall be in strict subordination to the civil power. Those garrison commanders. Oh, my goodness. Court. That's what we're talking about, right? Oh, don't worry. It's here. Oh, Ethan, you're not going to. It is. It's here. I'll tell you right there. And this is for Georgia. Well, in Georgia, they got paragraph this, paragraph that, paragraph. Not, and I just got one page out of there, so I don't have the title and so forth. It's in the document though. It's page 36. It's page 36. Well, oh no, it's possible that changed because I worked in that document. I added a state. I think it was Missouri. For some reason, Missouri was hard to find. Right to the courts. No person shall be deprived of the right to prosecute or defend, either in person or by an attorney, that person's own cause in any of the courts of this state. Oh, one of the comments in the message chat on part before this commented about how Dave is not pushing for arrest. Well, I said what I said, and it's all true, I believe. But, however, Dave and Josh do talk about arrest. They talk about how our servants will not arrest each other, and they're hiding the grand jury. But that's okay, because we're going to get the grand jury, because the grand jury belongs to us. And a year later, 2 years later, it's still what it is. If it's maladministration, misadministration, or treason, or all the above or more. So, election integrity is important. Being able to hold your servants to account, maybe that's even more important. I'm thinking it is. So just because you got the man, male or female, in office that you voted for, and you can't control them, and they're doing wrong, what's more important? I think controlling them. And they are to be controlled. They're to be controlled by their oath, by the trust indenture, by the just authorities that are granted to them, so that they can operate in a capacity of our servants and substitutes and handle the people's business. They are accountable. So, how do you hold them to account? They won't hold each other to account. And there are free men in prison, male and female, for marijuana. And more going all the time. In jail, in court, on probation, being surveilled, being pilfered. And I have proven that marijuana is healthy and is healing. And I have proven the DEA can't even abide by their own position of schedules. Marijuana has a zero medicinal value, high propensity for abuse, and too dangerous to be made into a drug. Why would we want to make it a drug? It is a God-given, natural growing plant. Why would we make it a drug? Would you make an orange a drug? Would you make a grapefruit a drug? A banana? How about an apple? Maybe a watermelon. Maybe another weed. Oh, there's so many wonderful weeds like plantain, dandelion. Plantain major. I think plantain major. There's two varieties. It's a lawn weed. It's a field weed. It's not that thing that looks like a banana. Plantain and plantain major. And the plantain, I believe, was one of the 7 sacred herbs and was touted as the panacea. Panacea, cure all. And we have been trained to spray poison on it and kill it. Don't trust me. Please do not trust me. Fact check me. Verify it. Do your due diligence, and then you can own that knowledge. Knowledge is power. All right. Let's share a little bit more uncommon knowledge. No law shall be enacted in this state limiting the amount of damages to be recovered for causing the death or, wait for it, injury of any person. No law shall be enacted in this state limiting the amount of damages to be recovered for causing the death or injury of any person. And what did we learn about the sheriff? The Board of Supervisors bears no responsibility for him because there is no limit. There's no umbrella. Equal privileges and immunities. Wow. Equal privileges and immunities. equal privileges and immunities. Two words. We're on a different subject now. Equal privileges and immunities. No law shall be enacted granting to any citizen, class of citizens, or corporation. I'm thinking that corporation was added in there. Other than municipal privileges or immunities which, upon the same terms, shall not equally belong to all citizens or corporations. Well, corporations are licensed. How can they have equal privileges? However, no need to argue that. Understand that no law, what law? No. None. It can't happen. No law shall be enacted granting to any citizen, class of citizens, or corporation other than municipal privileges or immunities which, upon the same terms, shall not equally belong to all citizens or corporations. To be informed of victims' constitutional rights. So every time one of these road pirates pulls you over and violates your constitutional rights, if you haven't already submitted a notice of liability to your sheriff, maybe you happen to have one, and this might be a good one. This is page 2. So let's see, does this tell me? Arizona. All right, Arizona Constitution. Article 2, Declaration of Rights, and then they're numbered. Section 1A, and then it goes 2, 1, Section 2.1, A, and then it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You get down to 12. And it says, to be informed of victims' constitutional rights. My question is, when has this ever happened? So let's just use road piracy, for example, okay? Is that okay? Well, whether it is or not, this is my platform, so that's where I'm going. And I suppose there's a couple of different ways to be creative in dealing with this. You could hand that road pirate a copy and tell him, I am to be informed of my constitutional rights when I've been a victim of a trespass. I just read this. Now I'm going to share it with you. I just informed myself. You should have been informed, but you weren't. You got 2 minutes to make your decision. It says so, like right here. You got 2 minutes, so I wouldn't disregard that if I was you. That's my advice. You know, you could handle it something like that. Record the whole thing. I think that's good. I've been really intrigued by this. However, I haven't really tied it into the notice of liability. But there's people out there writing notices, developing notices, crafting. That, I believe, is applicable to all the administrative clown stuff. That is truly a trespass on a free man who has been trained to be a good slave. Mm-hmm. Well, wow. Yeah, and see, that's what happens. Like that particular thought process wasn't really there. This knowledge and that knowledge, but they didn't come together like they did just there. Now, maybe I don't got that right. Maybe I'm not thinking straight about something because I just kind of developed a thought process. So we'll just let it settle and stew, come back to it, research it some more, see how it develops. Where does it go? Does it go somewhere or does it go nowhere? It's just a process. It's just kind of explain the thought process to you. Oh, Mr. Leto's Law, Southfield, Michigan, says the number one thing not in the Constitution is God. Here, the Constitution of the state of Alaska, adopted by the Constitutional Convention, February 5th, 1956, ratified by the people of Alaska, April 24th, 1956, became operative with formal proclamation of statehood January 3rd. Wait for it. 1959. Now, is that ancient history? When we hear these young people saying, and we hear these attorneys saying, oh, our Constitution's old, that don't mean nothing. That's just, we do statutes. Sure you do, clown. 1959. It's page 14. It's Alaska. If it's not page 14 because something changed in that 47 states, take a look at Alaska. Recent history, Mr. Leto. Recent history. We, excuse me, we, the people of Alaska, grateful to God. I'm not sure if you can see that or not, but you might. In yellow. Got to give you the PCAPs. Don't trust me. Trust God. We, the people of Alaska, grateful to God and those who founded our nation and pioneered this great land in order to secure and transmit to succeeding generations our heritage of political, civil, and religious Wait for it. Liberty. What liberty? All right, I'll go back. Succeeding generations are heritage of political, civil, and religious liberty within the Union of States. Do ordain and establish this Constitution for the state of Alaska. Became operative with the formal proclamation of statehood, January 3rd, 1959. This is modern times, Mr. Leto. This is within my lifetime. Ancient history, the Constitution. That's a good one. Doesn't mean anything anymore. You got no right to privacy. Ha, ha, ha. Well, not when you're a trained slave. Oh, if it hurts, I'm sorry. It should hurt. But look, it's not your fault. There are teachers out there that are teaching, oh, it's our fault. It's our fault we're here. No, none of us alive. None of us alive. We have been light MK ultra'd from birth. Because our parents and our grandparents were slaves. The education system has been dumbed down, dumbed down, dumbed down, dumbed down. My Own Your Authority series, video 6. And oh, hey, I'm kind of happy. I where I put those notice of liability document and the 47 state document. If you scroll down a little bit, you'll find some videos. These videos. And I learned how to put them in, because it's been a long time since I put that one in, reading my petition to the DEA, which whenever you get time, listen to it, because if it wasn't so serious, it'd be a comedy. Really. It's so stupidly simple. But I'm going to be able to organize the vids. So for the cannabis stuff, I'll be able to do that. And then I'll be able to section that off depending on whether I get a certain amount of vids, say for extraction versus another process, filtering, like that. And so once in a while, I'll get a little extra energy and do a little this and do a little that above and beyond what I'm already doing. That's just who I am. I always have been. So that's going to happen. I'll get those videos organized so that if you have a subject of interest, you don't have to go looking through all this. I'm up over 60 videos now. Kind of surprised myself. I don't think it'll be long. We'll see 100. So I should get them organized for y'all, and I will. Just like I said, I'd get your notice of liability done. One document that works for all Americans. It's like having God's arms around you with Archangel Michael. Oh, protection. Knowledge. 4 constitutional sections in there. If you just read those and understand those, You are so far on your way to owning your authority, it isn't even funny. And then that little bit up there at the top, how you come into court. You're the affiant. Affiant gives testimony. You are in a court of record. You're setting a jurisdiction. You don't have to claim or reclaim yourself. You know who you are. You're the affiant in the highest court with all power. Wow. And a court of record with a court of record document. All that right there. And one little paragraph coming in. And it works for all Americans. Oh, that's beautiful. All right. So now you understand that, well, now this happens after a couple of steps. First of all, you're going to make the modifications down there in the verification and the notary jurat for your name, state, county, and then city, village, or town. And did I say date? If I didn't, date. Then you facilitate that with a notary jurat. And you keep the original and make copies. Copies are what you said. And you can make more than one original. And if you feel like you need a dead man switch, what I did was I noted one of 5 originals. And then I even worded it where it made perfect, it all reads good. And there's a spot for the notary jurat to initial, and it states that that is the notary jurat whose signature is below. So we get 1 of 5, 2 of 5, 3 of 5, 4 of 5, 5 of 5, all originals. That lets somebody know there's more than one original. Just in case they got the idea, maybe they just come burn you out. Well, they got no idea where the other ones are, do they? Nope, they don't. So that can serve as well, it's a notice in a way. It is. And it's a protection. But it's not necessary in creating multiple originals. Once you get your document done, you're ready to go to the notary jurat. If you want 3 originals, print off 3. Take them up there. The notary jurat is going to verify your mark in the verification section. Verify that it is you who's making that mark. And then he or she's going to sign off on it with a signature. And then a stamp and a seal. Make sure you get the stamp in addition to the seal, because the seal isn't going to show up on a photocopy, because they're just using these little hand squeezy things. They're not using a press like in the old days. In the old days, that press would make such a mark. It actually shows on photocopy. I imagine this somebody knows I'm talking. Maybe it's Sheriff Mack. Let's see. Oh boy, fat fingered that. Oh Lord. Well, to put my glasses on. Um, and here they are. Well, we move along at God's speed. And you're free people. Americans, you're free people. You shouldn't be taxed the way you're taxed. You have all power. Exempt. Tax exempt. Because you are. Don't trust me. I wouldn't trust a British agent either. And the IRS probably isn't looking out for you either. All right. You know where to go to get these, and you know how to find it yourself, your own way. What's this one here? Florida, as revised in 1968 and subsequently amended. I really like the old ones. I found Florida's original. It's all photographed. I don't have time to mess around with it. It's really difficult to read. And, I don't like reading and I don't like writing. And I got so much thinking that I'm doing right now. I'm just hoping that somebody else will do the work on that. I got a feeling we're going to find some nuggets. We start digging into the original Bills of Rights, Declarations of Rights in our state's constitutions. So anyways, this is really good. It is. I don't know if it's been abridged. I don't. Article 1, Declaration of Rights, Section 2. Basic rights. All natural persons, female and male alike, are equal before the law and have inalienable rights. Inalienable rights. All natural persons, female and male alike, are equal before the law and have inalienable rights, among which are the right to enjoy and defend life and liberty. Life and liberty. I don't want to wear a mask. I want to wear 100 masks on my feet. Liberty. I will not. Liberty. Going to do what I want to do, when I want to. Going to think what I want to think, when I want to. Going to eat what I want to eat, when I want to, if I can. Liberty. I will decide. Liberty. Freedom. Freedom and liberty. What kind of freedom and liberty does a person, male or female, have incarcerated in private prisons? Prisons for profit. Because they were assumed and presumed. Because they were cheated and tricked. Because we've all been dumbed down since day one. That's why the bar will be gone. By God. Abortion will end. By God. These evildoers who, with full knowledge, continue to perpetuate this upon us as a society, are going to be held to account. Many have already had their court pleadings. Now the jury must make a determination on the charges. There is no more testimony, Gretchen. There's no more testimony to give, Gretchen. Court is over. You're guilty. Charges of treason and misadministration and maladministration and probably more will be levied against you. They have been levied against you by the prosecutor, served on the sheriff. Questions? Anybody got questions? Court has been held. She's an attorney. Was. Before she was governor. A British agent. Before she was governor. Maybe still a British agent. But court has been held in the People's Court. But you see, they don't teach what I know, the uncommon knowledge of common law. Professor Clemens doesn't teach this in his law classes. Professor Clemens believes common law is the accumulation of case history. Clown world. So because it's not taught, it's not taught. I'm going to say it again. It is not taught. They do not teach students of law, the highest law of the land, the law that gives you all your rights. Well, God gave you your rights. The Constitution just has those rights guaranteed for you. By your forefathers. Guaranteed to you. by your forefathers. They come from God. But it's in a trust indenture. A trust. You have franchises on your rights. You have freedom. What kind of freedom do you have in prison because of marijuana? Who did you harm? What kind of freedom do you have in prison because of a third DUI? Who did you harm? All through administrative processes. Administrative. With British agents. To a generational dumbed down population. Where are the men? You want your wife to fight this battle for you, or your daughter? Or your aunt? Maybe grandma. You need grandpa to fight it for you? Maybe you need great grandpa. Grandpa. If us grandpas ain't going to stand up, who is? Who? If we don't have wisdom at our age, who will? If not us, who? If not now, when? How many more little girls got to die? How many more moms got to cry? How many more got to go bye-bye? Off to prison, off to court, kicked out of their domicile because they've been robbed so much they can't afford to keep the roof over their head. Can't put clothes on their back, can't put food in their belly. Oh, government, help me. Is the food bank open? Can I get a subsidy check? What if I have another kid and I don't get married? Can I get some more money? Cut it out. Stop being a slave. Oh, I got to go renew my tabs. Slave. Put your vehicle into private. It's easy. Represent your straw man. Make a signature for your straw man. Make sure when you represent that straw man, that's all caps. Negotiate the deal. You want to negotiate for $1? You want to negotiate for $100? $100,000. It's between you and your straw man. Who really cares, huh? And you got all power. All right, so now you got that done. You got the dollar amount in there. You've dealt with the odometer issue. You dealt with the straw man issue. All the straw man stuff is done. Signatures done. Now it's purchaser. Oh, it says signature. Oh, that's easy enough. You got all power. Take whatever you got, scratch that out. Who knows? Maybe you could even turn that into a line and write autograph below it and then put your autograph above it. I don't know. Well, but for me, I just had a lot of room off to the side of it. So I just marked it out. I wrote autograph and then I autographed. And then printed name of purchaser, not all caps. Now, what happened? You just move that vehicle into the private. You did. By simply getting your title and a pen and doing as I described. Fact. Just apply critical thinking, think it through. Try and rebut that. Try. You can't. So the next thing you're going to do, hold on for a minute. I got to go get a piece of paper so I can explain this better. I'll be right back. It's only going to take me just about, that's half the time. Here we come. All right. Right here. Coming into court. Article section. Got that. Down here, verification, notary jury. In here, big blank space. Problem is, the title's about this big. Not quite. Now that you put your title into private, put it into a copy machine, make a copy. Reduce it in size. Reduce it in size until it's going to fit in this blank space in your court of record document in affidavit. Then you take and you put this all together into the copy machine like that. Hit print. Guess what? Now you got something to take to the notary jurat. What are you taking to the notary jurat? You are giving testimony to what? Well, you have all power, for one. How's that? Number two, you took your vehicle out of registry and moved it into the private. Why would you register your private property? Do you register your refrigerator, your oven, your cabinets? Do you? Do you register your lawnmower? I mean, come on, people. Do you register your bicycle? So now you have created a court of record document. It's an affidavit form. It is your testimony with your authority of all power and purely a logical, systematic approach of completing the transfer from a fiction entity that is administrated through a fraud. You can get yourself away from the fraud. You can get yourself away from the chain of being a trained slave and own your authority for freedom. Once you get that copy made, you take it to the notary jurat. And the notary jurat verifies that it is you who is making the autograph in the verification section, you are verifying that your testimony is true and accurate to the best of your belief. The notary jurat is signing off on that with a signature and a stamp and a seal. Now your vehicle's into private. Now, this is important out in Kent County. I didn't get the facts straight. And I've been saying to Josh Eddy, we gotta talk about this because we told the people something. Josh Eddy says, hey, I listened to that, bro, and I got it right. So here's what's going on. Out there in Grant County, if you don't have a driver's license, no problem. Move along. However, if you're speeding, you don't have a seatbelt, you got a cracked windshield, busted mirror, all that kind of stuff, license plate stuff, tab expired, blah, blah, blah. It appears they're still in the road piracy game. So putting the vehicle into private would fix that in Grant County or any county, any state, America. So there you go. Put your vehicle into private. Carry a copy of that with you. That's your travel paper for your vehicle. You're not in commerce. You have guests in your vehicle or your conveyance, whatever you want to call it. You're not in their system. You're out. And you're free and you have all power. Use the words you want to use. You are not in their system. You're not in that court with assumptions and presumptions where you are represented because you cannot present yourself. With that notice of liability, you should never end up being administrated in an administrative court ever. Just own your authority, period. It's not complicated. It's very simple. I'm trying to make it stupidly simple. And it is. But you got people out there that are not reporting what's really important. And they're taking money from you. And they're for opinions and reporting news. For opinions and for reporting news. Not for bringing you the kind of truth that I'm bringing you. Not for giving you the kind of freedom that you didn't know you could have. Cheap is free. Cheap is free. Just go get it. I suppose that's the price. The price is your effort to go get it, fill it out, and do it. Take those 48 states. It's labeled 47 states. Study it. Why not? Know who you are. You're an American. Be an American. Live free. We are at war. We have been at war for a long time. We have British agents controlling the state of Michigan. That's it. And David Nino Rodriguez isn't going to tell you about it. Red Pill 78's not going to tell you about it. CanCon's not going to tell you about it. Randy Kelton's not going to tell you about it. Because it's too hot. It's too hot. It's so hot. The fear is controlling them. So I want you all to pray with me in silence. I want you to pray with me for these men. I pray these men will be a credit to the race. A credit to the race. Teach you some constitutional value. Teach you some constitutional law. Teach you how to be free. Show you what they do to people like me so they can abuse all of you. They probably got something to lose, like a nice house, business, maybe a savings, maybe a good, loving relationship. They got a right to protect themselves. They got a right to protect their privacy. They don't have a. Oh, I want to say this. They got no excuses. If they cared about that property and that house and that family and their possessions, they'd care about yours equally if they were godly. It can all be rehad if you lose it all. You see, a self-made man, a man who comes up from nothing and has great financial success and then finds himself penniless, he's got a huge advantage over the man who had an inheritance handed to him, had a business handed to him, and they lost the business, they lost the inheritance because they don't know how to build one. They don't have the experience. They just know how to take what's given to them and then not take care of it and lose it. Or be cheated. That happens. Be tricked. That happens. Get rid of the bar. Get rid of the ADA. Get rid of the AMA. All these associations. We're going to clean up the food. We're going to clean up our water. We're going to get healthy. We're going to live free. We're going to hold all these parasites accountable. We are. Everyone's worth redemption. There's a lot of forensic auditing that's going to happen Maybe you just want to come clean and ask for redemption and be part of the program, be part of the solution. Maybe you want to ask for immunity. Maybe you want to ask for protection. If you need it, ask. Don't wait until after court. It's too late. It's too late. It cannot be reheard. The case cannot be reheard. Facts are facts. Learn how to create your case, people. I'll find that one for you again. There's a couple of them. There's a couple of them. Georgia. Right to the courts. No person shall be deprived of the right to prosecute or defend, either in person or by an attorney, that person's own cause in any of the courts of the state. Any of the courts. Any. Oh, well, I live in Georgia, Ethan. Oh, how can I help you out here? I know I can. No law shall be enacted granting to any citizen, class of citizens, or corporation other than municipal privileges or immunities which upon the same terms shall not equally belong to all citizens or corporations. Well, why is that, Ethan? Well, there's a couple of reasons. And boy, there was a good one right here. Lordy, 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 lordy. That all men are created equal. That's a constitutional position. They're all created equal with regards to their rights and in God's eyes. Not like someone might try to argue, all men are created equal. Oh, yeah, I know. Some way more. Some got different color hair. Some got bigger nose than others. A male man is not capable of bearing a child. A female man is not capable of impregnating a female. Not all men are created equal in many ways. How fast they walk, how fast they talk, all those things. But in the eyes of God, all men are created equal, male and female. And it's the natural law that created our common law. It's that simple. Another constitutional kiss for you there, America. What one is this here? Here we go. Now, this is important. Free government and the blessings of liberty can be preserved. Well, let's see, did I get that right? Free government and the blessings of liberty can be preserved to any people only by a firm adherence to justice. To what? Justice. Oh, man. Give me some justice. Preserved to any people only by a firm adherence to justice, moderation, temperance, frugality, and virtue, and by frequent reoccurrence to fundamental values. Preamble. We, the people of the state of Arizona, grateful to Almighty God for our liberties, do ordain this Constitution. Mr. Lito is going to tell you, God's not in the Constitution. You got no right to privacy. Southfield, Michigan. This is why the bar is going to go. Wow. That would be like the tip of the iceberg. One of the reasons. All right, people. Get that notice of liability. Complete it. Take it to your sheriffs. Oh, those 47 states constitutions. 48. Feel free to print those off too. And take that, study it, and then take that into the sheriff and have a talk with them. And do it under their surveillance, audio and video, and take your own. And then serve them the notice of liability. And then any other notice you want. You want the grand jury? Let them know. You want them to stop being a road pirate? You got your notice of liability. It's going to cost them a shitload of money. It's going to cost the taxpayers a shitload of money. I doubt he's going to get reelected with that kind of a policy in place. Know who you are. Again, Americans, if you knew who you were, none of this would be necessary. No paperwork, no explanations, no studying, no videos. You would just be living large, living free, loving life, loving God. And you would prosper and multiply. That sounds a whole lot better than what we got going on now, don't it? So it's okay. It is. Wounds heal. Time passes. Today and tomorrow and yesterday become history. Quick. You know how fast the news cycle changes. So let's get it on. Let's get it on. I thought I was going to crush it for the 4th of July for Michigan and America. But Mr. Whiteford, Mr. Wagner, and Mr. Leach over there, well, they made some bad decisions. And then those 3 garrison commanders made some bad decisions. And then the Kalkaska County prosecutor just up boots Scoots boogies. And then Gretchen's dancing with the FBI. And now people are wondering, well, what's all that about? This looks really weird. And entrapment. Why so many paid informants? And look, Gretchen lost in court. I caught her flat-footed. Flat-footed. footed. They don't teach this stuff in law school. Pity. Now, it's not like I haven't been given notice. It's not like I haven't been trying. It's not like it didn't start way back with Governor Snyder. Well, his name's on that arrest list too. I do believe it is. I could be wrong. I believe it's on there. I do. Because you see, Mr. Snyder did not have time. No. Just like Jack Bergman, Gary Peters. Well, they had time to do nothing. And we just keep paying them to lock us up, steal from us, make us live in fear, be sick. Everybody's looking for a document. I need a document. Everybody's got a story. Everybody's got a story. That's how evil this is. Some people got stories, books and books and books, libraries. Everybody's got a story. So it's not about your story. It's not about my story. It's about our story. It is about the enemy. Private foreign entity. Infiltrated virtually every aspect of our society. The world over. Like a cancer. Like a cancer. Don't look to Randy Kelton to tell you about it. Don't look to David Nino Rodriguez. Don't look to CanCon. Don't look to Red Pill 78. They're not going to tell you about gum tissue rejuvenation. They're not going to tell you about optimal oral health and how it's key to overall health and how every root canal tooth is a toxic tooth and how they put 15 million of them in every year. They're not going to tell you that. They're not going to tell you how the NIH spent $1.8 billion to try and find another way to suppress my information and put me in jail and put me into their clown world because I was a good slave. I was a good slave. I went through it all. I went through it all. And then the patent office denied my patent. And 6 months before they announced the failing of the $1.8 billion study, the patent examiner was in there messing with my case. I got the videos on that. I got the documents. I've read the court case. All right. I won the patent. I beat them twice, didn't I? I won the patent, and then I won the court case. Now it's time for justice. Pat Whiteford up here hiding my grand jury. So you can be sick. So you can live in fear. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it in your county? You're going to own your authority, put your vehicle into private, get that notice of liability, print off them 47 states, study it, go talk with your sheriff, get together with your community. Your grand jury comes from your community. Your community creates your jury pool. That's an assembly. When the people come together and consult for the common good. So you can do it. You have all power. You have all power. And you have a county. It's not a very big area. And the most powerful law enforcement is your sheriff's department. That's one man, male or female. It's one man. And so far, every sheriff I've spoken with is dumbed down. Yeah, and they'll turn to the prosecutor and Sheriff Mack. The prosecutor's been dumbed down because, remember, they don't teach it. And Sheriff Mack, I believe, is a gatekeeper. And you don't want to get caught flat-footed. Try and be good with the notice. Try and be good with the remedy for all. Try and allow for redemption. But when that gavel falls, baby, that gavel falls. By God. Amen. All right. Love y'all. Go hard. Go hard.